Sadiq Khan might have to stand trial this summer. In 2022, Sadiq Khan decided to expand the ultra-low emission zone to the whole of Greater London, imposing a £12.50 daily charge on the poorest Londoners who drive older vehicles. Now, this will devastate businesses, it will put many Londoners into debt as they're forced to buy new cars, and some charities are at risk of going under. But when, in 2022, did Sadiq Khan make his decision? Now, the answer to that question will decide whether or not the ULEZ expansion goes ahead in August, or whether the Mayor is forced to delay. And it's a question that the High Court is assessing right now and is expected to make a decision on imminently. You see, the Mayor is required to run a consultation on proposed policies like this to collect the views of the people who are affected. Consultations are set out in law and have to be run in a certain way to be legitimate. The gunning principles set out 4 principles that must be met for a consultation to be considered legitimate in the eyes of the law. Number 1, that proposals are still at a formative stage. A final decision has not yet been made or predetermined by the decision makers. Number 2, that there is sufficient information to give intelligent consideration. The information provided must relate to the consultation and must be available, accessible, and easily interpretable for consultees to provide an informed response. Number 3, that there is adequate time for consideration and response. And number 4, conscientious consideration must be given to consultation responses before a decision is made. And decision makers should be able to provide evidence that they took consultation responses into account. If any of these principles were breached, Sadiq Khan's consultation would be unlawful, and therefore his decision to go ahead with ULEZ expansion would no longer have the legal grounds it requires. The High Court is considering evidence that there were some very serious flaws in the consultation, which City Hall Conservatives exposed in January with the ULEZ scandal. We found serious evidence that consultation responses were removed illegitimately, and that an alternative YouGov poll was commissioned by the Mayor's staff to try and downplay the level of opposition to ULEZ expansion. We found that the Mayor and his deputy made false and dishonest statements to the London Assembly to cover up how much they knew about what was happening during the consultation process. And we found clear evidence that TfL was spending money marketing the consultation to people they believed would be more likely to support ULEZ expansion, thus skewing the results in their favour. And last month, we discovered that TfL began ordering ULEZ cameras in April 2022 before the consultation had even started, on the spurious grounds that they were getting ready just in case the Mayor decided to go ahead. But the evidence paints a clear picture. The Mayor decided to go ahead with ULEZ expansion before the consultation. He therefore breached the first principle by predetermining the outcome. The Mayor's staff manipulated the results of the consultation. This was a breach of the 4th principle, where conscientious consideration must be given to consultation responses. And there is also evidence to suggest that the 2nd principle may have been breached, with the way the consultation was set up, the way questions were worded, and the fact that relevant information was excluded. And that is why this is so important. The evidence we exposed in the ULEZ scandal could be the key to stopping ULEZ expansion in its tracks. We hope that the High Court will take this to trial so the consultation can be scrutinised properly with all the powers that the court has to compel evidence and testimony, including from Sadiq Khan himself. And if it is the case that the consultation is found to be illegitimate by the court, Sadiq Khan will have no real choice but to delay it and then to put the decision to the people in the next mayoral election. So I want to thank everyone who has voiced their legitimate and heartfelt concerns about ULEZ expansion, despite the Mayor's attempts to smear and dismiss you. We are doing everything in our power to protect Londoners from this disastrous policy. And no matter what Sadiq Khan tries to throw at us, we will stand up for you.